Hi, I'm Tracey Trottenberg, and I am so happy that you are here for this very special video series called Own, Honor, and Unleash. It is my intention to provide you with very specific information, not just information because no one needs more information, but strategies and tools and tips that you can use as transformation so that you can actually step more into who you are and own, honor, and unleash your power, your presence, your passion, your purpose, the truth of who you are. So first of all, let me start by saying that I am so excited that you are here. I know that you are here for very specific reasons, and let me share with you what I believe to be true about you. There is a part inside of you that is ready for more. Whether you are already doing your work in the world through your business, through your passion and your purpose, if you're out speaking, if you're leading, if you are already having success and you know that you are ready to take everything up to the next level, or if you're just getting started, but you know that inside whatever's been cooking, whatever's been percolating, whatever's in there is ready to come out like no kidding. Because you know that you are here to do your God work. That's what I call it. It's your calling. It's your work in the world. It's your purpose. So whether you're already out there, you're just getting started, I want to reassure you that you are in the perfect place. Because here's what I also believe to be true about you, is that a lot of people talk about that, right? A lot of people are talking about that. I think you're a little more serious. I believe that you're actually ready. That whatever you've been doing, whatever steps you've already taken along your path, you know that it's your time. And I know that it's your time. And I want that for you because I know that there are others that are waiting for you in a bigger, more powerful, more aligned, more true way. Now, when I say bigger, I actually mean more aligned. When I say more powerful, I mean more congruent and connected. So that you're really having an impact and having the kind of presence that you want to create for people. Because you know that's what you're meant for. So that's exactly what we're going to focus in this video series. I invite you to grab a pen and paper because I'm going to pour into you. And in this video, we're going to talk about own, then we're going to talk about honor, then we're going to talk about unleash. And those are three very potent words that came to me a few years ago, and I just continue to be amazed at how comprehensive and how true those steps are to achieve what you know you're meant for and what this journey is really about. So let me give you a little context and kind of a container for what I'm going to talk about in these videos, because I want you to know a little bit about me and so you can listen from a place that will provide a bigger context for you. I have over 20 years in corporate and as an entrepreneur, and I've spoken to, coached, and trained tens of thousands of people across the US, Canada, and the Caribbean. My passion is working with women who know that they have a message and work to get out in the world, like you. So what I focus on and what is kind of the foundation and the essence of everything we're going to talk about are three areas. Number one, it's about speaking. I teach speaking skills, verbal and nonverbal. The way I approach it, though, is really about the inner and outer game of speaking. So we work on your content and your words and your specific message because you need to get those clear. But that's only 7%. I also work on the 93%, which is your nonverbal, your body language, your voice tone, really how you show up. And the presence that you have, because I know, for me, for all the women that I work with, for the speakers that you see out there that you're like, oh my God, they're so good, I want that, is that it's all about the experience that you create for your audience. And the way that you do that is you got to do the work in here, and you got to do the inner work. So that's one area of focus, which is speaking, the inner and outer game of speaking, I would say. The second is leadership. Now, if you have anything on that word, are you a leader? You question it, you don't, you got some baggage around it. Listen, give it up. Let it go, because you are a leader. And what I want for you is to embrace that so that you really can own who you are and have the kind of potency that you know you need and that you know you want and that you know you have inside of you. For years and years, over 15 years, I have been giving training in leadership. And what I have come to learn in all of my experience with very senior executives, government officials, entrepreneurs, lots and lots and lots of people is this. At its core, leadership is about how you show up and the impact that you have on yourself and others. So I want you to show up in a way that is aligned and reflects what you mean for it to, rather than unconscious or blind spots or things that you don't know that you're putting out there that are getting in the way. Where does that start? The inner work. It's all about the inner work, because it's not just about what you do, it's about who you be, and you're going to hear that throughout this series. So how do you lead and own the stage? How do you really show up in a way that is really powerful, whether you're on or off stage? Not like you have to turn it on, but it's actually who you be. That's what we're going to talk about in this series. The third area of focus in this context is about staying true to who you are as a woman and staying feminine. The true, delicious, juicy you. That's who we want to see out there, and that's what I want to support you in. I love that a lot of people are talking about feminine power and feminine essence. I've been immersed in this work for over 12 years, and I know and continue to walk my own path and work with so many women to continue to really figure out what does it mean? What does it really mean to be feminine? It's not about the lipstick and the nails. What does it really mean to be feminine? And what I keep discovering on my own path and with others is that it is about this inner work. And that's what we're going to be talking about here, so that you are owning who you are. And you don't have to do it in any way that is not authentic to you, which includes doing it in a more masculine way. More like the guys, more like the ways you've had to do it in the past, whether it's in corporate or throughout your past or your history, so that you could fit in and so that you could be successful. That's not what we want anymore. That's not what the world wants. I believe the world is ready and starving for feminine leadership, for speakers, for messengers like you. So not only are you in the right place, but I want you to have a context for what we're going to talk about. So let's dive into what it means to own. And I'm not talking about the conceptual theory. I want you to own your strength and own your worth and own that. That's important, but it's only here. To me, and what this video and what this series and what this work is really about is you being embodied in owning your strength, your value, your greatness, your magnificence, your truth, your worth. It's about claiming what you know inside is true for you and having the courage and the strength to bring it out. And I'm going to continue to talk to you and teach you what it takes and how to do that and what's in the way of that. So in a minute or so, I'm going to tell you about one of the big things that I've discovered that few people talk about, but that's really in the way of really owning it. But first I want you to get honest and own and claim right here, right now, the things that have been inside that maybe you haven't put out there yet. So your vision, your message, what you know has to change, the care and the commitment and the love that you bring, you know it's needed and you know it's the better way. I'm here to tell you that's true. Your spirituality, I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about your belief, your faith, your knowing that whether you call it God, the universe, your higher self, that the truth of you inside is rooted in that. Maybe there's more to be done. Hey, look, we all have more to be done. I'm doing my own work every day too, But in your private moments, you know that that's true. Maybe you're having success and you show up one way out in the world and people think you got it all together and you're doing your thing or whatever's going on out there. But when you're lying alone or awake at night, alone or not, in your private thoughts, in your prayers, you are asking for more of you to come out. You are asking to be of greater service. You are saying, tell me what you want me to do. Because I got this thing inside me that's got to come out more. I know I belong on stage. I know I'm meant to be doing this bigger. Help, how do I do this? Well, I'm here to tell you that the first step is to own it. Great. Okay. So how does that go from conceptual to really being in your body and being aligned? Number one is claiming it. So write it down. What are the things that you know, and it takes courage to say it. Now, what is often in the way of really embracing and owning that is what I call the gap inside the gap. After all my years in coaching, all the people that I've worked with, all the other teachers and so on that I've been blessed to work with in here, what I've realized is that there is a gap inside the gap that very few people are talking about. So I want you to dive into this. The gap that we usually talk about, and I just before drew this really very simplistic diagram. So let me show it to you. Draw it yourself, okay? It's a circle with a circle inside it. So here's the deal. The gap between here and here is what most people talk about. That's the gap between where you are and where you want to go. That's your goals, that's your vision, that's how much you want to bring in, the stages that you want to be on, anything like that, right? That's where you are and where you want to go. And that's what most people focus on. If you're a coach or you work with other people, that's what you help them do. When you're in a sales conversation, a prospecting conversation, you find out where they are and where they want to go and how you're going to help them get there. Okay. The challenge is that we often don't get there and we get very frustrated and we lose hope and we lose faith in ourselves and in God. That's my word. Use your own word. Universe, higher self. Just make it work for you. But we lose faith because we're not focused on the gap inside the gap. So here's the deal. The gap inside the gap is this right here. Okay? So what that means is that there is a part of you, let me get this, inside, that has not yet caught up to where you are. And I want you to really take that in. So if you ever find yourself in a position where people say, oh my God, you're so great at X, Y, or Z, speaking, at doing the work that you do, at anything, and you dismiss it or discredit it, you're stuck in that loop called the gap inside the gap. One of my mentors says, we're the last ones to know really how great and magnificent we are. And that's the truth. The little girl inside of you, the programming, the survival strategies, all of the things that you have learned over time that have kept you small or safe, procrastinating, stalling, thinking it's got to be perfect. I don't know. Maybe you're a recovering perfectionist too. Hello, me too. Anything that has been keeping you in this small place and not embracing that you are magnificent, that you do have greatness inside you, that you are really good at what you're really good at. That's the part that's holding you back. So the key here is to bring this little girl, this part inside of you, these beliefs, these ideas about yourself that are not current, to bring them to this moment. Because when you do that, it's like you actually line up. I want to make sure that was straight, not like wobbly, right? You actually line up with the truth of who you are today. And when you operate from that, when you own that, when you own the fact that you really deeply care and you want to be more loving in your work, you want to be more abundant and really have more cash flowing. You want to be out on stages. You want to write the book. You want to do whatever it is that you want to do that you know is inside of you. When you line up to where you are now, that's when you have potency. That's when you can accelerate. That's when you start to have confidence, and that's what's magnetic. That's what draws people in and opportunities and stages and cash flow and everything like that, because you're being it now. And the way there, the key, is we got to close the gap inside the gap. You have to recognize who you are and what you bring. And I could give you example after example on my own journey and other women that I work with all the time that are just not there. But what's more interesting, that are just not yet in that current truth of who you are. What's more interesting is for you to look for you. I want you, when this video is over, to take a pen and paper and reflect on what feedback do you get that you dismiss all the time. What are the things that you know that you want, like your spirit says, go do this, and then you question it? Those are all ways that you are holding yourself in this very small circle called the gap inside the gap, and that's what's in the way. And when you start to say and claim and own your truth, that you have greatness, that you are great, that you are magnificent, that you are strong, that you are smart, that you are juicy, you are sassy, you are like, come on, like, let's go. That you have a real conviction about the work that you do and why the world needs to be a better place and your role in it. When you own that today, not where you want to go, where you are right now, the secret world that you have inside of you, when you start owning that and doing the work to heal, to let that little girl know it's safe, to let her know, you know what, I am pretty good at this, to let yourself know that, when you do that, that's when you start to own, and that's when you start to really have power and strength in the truth of who you are. And let me tell you something, that the more of this work that I do for myself, and I see it with others, is this. It ain't about ego, and it's not arrogant. A lot of us have a hard time claiming our greatness because we've been told that it's not okay. My thing was I didn't want to be too much. You might have your version of that. The flip side of too much is not enough. This could be easily like hours. I'm trying to keep this condensed for you because I just want you to see and have a hit and be able to go ahead and do some work on your own with this. But the truth is that when you really can step into that and own that and stand in that, it's not ego, it's not arrogance, it's actually very humbling. There's a lot of humility that comes with it because it ain't about you and it is about you. It is about your connection with God, your faith, your spirituality. Again, universe, use whatever word you use. But when you embrace that and can say, I am magnificent, I got some really cool things going on over here. That's very humbling because it doesn't make you any better or any worse. It just makes you more you. And when you do that, it creates space for other people to be more of themselves. And when you want to get out on stage and you want to speak and you want to lead and you want to grow your business and you want to be successful, you want to make a difference, that's the key. That's the key. So your assignment between now and the next video is for you to really sit down and make a list. And don't focus on the gap that you always do, which is where you want to go. Focus on the gap inside that gap. Where are you now? What have you not yet claimed and owned? And what's in the way? You don't need to spend a lot of time analyzing, processing. Those days are over, thankfully. What you do need to do is do the inner spiritual work, the truth of recognizing that you are meant to be great. And I'm here to tell you that. You are meant to be great. You are meant to be magnificent. And when you own that and give yourself permission for that and do the work, it takes work. I do my work every day. I'm immersed in this conversation with my clients every day. Anybody that you think has already got it all together, anybody that is telling you they have it all together, it ain't true. It takes work, real work, and courage, and a willingness. And I believe that you have that. So you go do your work. You look at the things that you haven't been willing to own about yourself that are true, your secret thoughts, the power that's inside of you that you haven't let out yet, the depth of your faith and relationship with God that you know is at the source, and you're ready to claim the abundance, the voice that you are, the message, the journey, the ways that you want to help people. You write that down and you commit to being willing to close the gap inside the gap, to embrace yourself, embrace your spirit, your juiciness, your deliciousness, your voice, your essence. And that's game-changing, game-changing. So I hope that this was valuable. There's a lot more that I could say, but I think that's a great start. In the next video, we're going to talk about what it means to honor. which is about celebrating and integrating who you are. And then we're going to talk about what it means and looks like to unleash. So thank you again for being here, and I can't wait to see you on the next video. Now go do your work. Bye for now.